because they just feel like they don't see themselves in it, or they have this image of, oh, it means I'm going to be this socially awkward, nerdy guy, or I have to look like Albert Einstein. And so we start to see a drop in young women who lose interest in STEM around middle school age. But then also for those who do stay along the STEM path, the culture in the STEM workforce many times is not very welcoming. So we have a lot of work to do in terms of making sure that young women who look like you all get interested and then stay interested in STEM. And then of course making the workplace that they go into be welcoming and inclusive of them once they get there. So it's a really, really complex issue, but we need as many of you, especially people who are in this room today that look like all of us, to go into this space, because diversity is so important for innovation. So we need you, we need your ideas. So thank you for that question. Okay, so I'm looking at, I have a 4-minute warning. I was trying to see the tracker here. So I want to come back to my other set of questions and talk a little bit more about this idea of failure. Because I think so many times when we see people who are successful, we just assume that it just kind of worked out the first time and they didn't really have to struggle or sort of shift gears a bit. So Beatriz, can you tell us about a failure that you experienced and what you learned from it, or how it impacted you in your career?
Yeah, I think you always learn from failure. It's great, but it doesn't always feel good. Going back to that great TV job that I was telling you guys at the beginning that I had, it was going great. I had won some Emmys, I had 3 shows in this network, I was on top of the world. I was in my early 20s. And you guys don't know what a fax is, but it's almost like getting an Instagram message and being fired through that, right? So my boss didn't even come and tell me, you're fired. I got this fax thing in my office and said that all my shows were canceled. And I had no idea why. My ratings were so high. We had won these Emmys. Never this network had won any of these awards. And I had no idea what I was being fired. And I learned that it was because, since I was one of the few women producers at the time, and this is many years ago, this doesn't happen now, hopefully, some guy had said that I had too much power. So they were putting me in something that they would call the refrigerator, so you could kind of cool off. So women with power, they didn't really like. And obviously being 23 years old, 24, I resigned, because why would I get paid and not do nothing? I would take that job today for sure. Pick up my kids at school every day. But as hard as that was, and I really felt like the world was going to end that day, it was the best thing that could happen to me, because that's how I became an entrepreneur by default. How was I going to pay my rent? How was I going to survive by myself in Mexico City at the time? And that's when I started in my own living room, my first company. So I'm very grateful for that failure, for being fired via a fax, because if it wasn't because of that, maybe I would have just been comfortable doing what I was doing back then.
So I have to say, I learned nothing from success. I've learned everything from failure. And here's the thing. Do any of you play sports? Right. I love to hire women who play sports. You know why? Because they know how to lose and get back up and get back out there. Because everything, nothing, if it all goes smoothly, it's just not real. You're gonna fail. In fact, I encourage you to fail. Learn to fall down and get right back up. Because the thing is, I'm in the sales business, right? I'm selling clients to studios or to brands, or I'm selling a writer to a TV network. 9 times out of 10, I get no. If I were discouraged easily, or if I were I failed and I can't do this, I wouldn't be able to do it. But every time I failed, I learned something. And when those 197 people told me no, I always said, I went back to them and said, what could I have done better? What could I learn? What do I need to know? Or how can I change this going forward? Because I don't care if you think I'm annoying for asking follow-up questions. This is how I'm going to learn. And you already turned me down. What do I care what you think of me? So I think of every time I fail, I was like, you either win or you learn. Those are the only 2 choices. So if you win, great. If you fail, what can I learn? And I think, honestly, every time the universe sends you a failure, it's an opportunity to learn.
I totally agree with you. I think I've learned the most from failures, and I think my failure is also a time I got fired. And what it taught me was that sometimes you need to make a left. I think a lot of times we're in our careers and it's like hard charging. I know I want to go there and I need to be focused on going there. But sometimes going over there actually gets you there quicker. And that's what that taught me. I was fired from a job that was my dream job. Well, laid off more so than fired, I'll say, for my own ego. And what I did instead was, instead of trying to find that exact same job, I started working in mobile. Nobody had a job, was interested in working in mobile advertising before. It was brand new. I know you guys can't even imagine that. But it was. Nobody wanted to work in mobile. Nobody wanted to work in digital. I spent the next 2 years doing that, and then all of a sudden, I was the most marketable person. Anytime I sent out my resume, I immediately got a phone call. And it really was a catapult for me into a completely different level of career and really being able to call myself a marketer for the first time.
Thank you so much. So we are all out of time, unfortunately. So I just want to, as a closing thought, tell you all, you've learned so much from these women, the importance of failure, the importance of perseverance. Find a passion. What do you care about? What's the change you want to make in this world? And know that you have so much power and potential within you. You have so much within you. Your task is to unlock it and to figure out how you're going to make this world a better place as a result of it. So thank you to my amazing panelists, and thank you all for being